told you I found you a perfect match. Chosen by science, but you had to marry them right this second. You would tell me, well, that sounds pretty whack. And I would add, you have 8 weeks to know if you really love them. You just got married at first sight. Jason and Aysha gonna tell you wrong from right. Are all these couples just disasters waiting to happen? Imagine if one of them could be a perfect match.
Hello and welcome to A Perfect Match, where we talk about the amazing show called Married at First Sight. We are here to talk about episode 13 of season 17. I'm Aysha, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, Jason Reed. Jason, how are you?
Aysha. You listen. We came here in front of the listeners, right? Before we started, you said we're gonna talk Prison Brides. I said great, fantastic. But now we get here in front of our viewers, and now you want to tell me we're talking about Married at First Sight, season 17, episode 13. I feel blindsided. I don't know why you keep doing this. You keep saying you don't talk about one thing and then you change it. I just don't understand. I don't get it. Can we just not dwell on Married at First Sight? Can we just talk about something else? Can we talk about the positive things, like not this season, because this season is very negative? Can we talk about something positive, like true love inside the prison system? Can we talk about that?
I just feel like how can we move forward if we don't talk about the past? Okay, you're a little different on camera than you are off camera.
Aysha, don't make me throw stuff at the walls. Okay, don't make me pace. Don't make me pace around in circles. I just am so upset that you changed this. You changed this up on me. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Jason, is this you?
I just don't understand. I just don't get it. He is beyond pissed. For audio listeners, Aysha's changed her background to the Emily and Brendan scene, where Brendan just had enough. He's just got the dead 40-yard stare going that he always has now. He's just like, someone please just put me out of my misery. Just let me go. Just please save me. And Emily's just like, I don't know. I'm so trying to be so positive.
I'm finally trying to speak my mind.
Now.
Oh, the temper tantrum. I can't wait to talk about it. They're both.
He's so sick of it. He's so sick of it.
Oh, I'm sick of them.
For real.
Yeah. So we're here, like I said, talk about episode 13. We don't yet have the wedding of Michael and Chloe. We still just have the build up, I guess you could say.
It seems like next episode is going to be only Michael and Chloe, because in the preview there was no other couples going on. It was only Michael and Chloe, and I don't know how I feel about that.
I know how I feel. Not great.
Yeah, if it's only going to be that. Now I do appreciate a break from these idiots that we've gotten here on this season, but I don't know if I'm ready for an hour and a half of just Michael and Chloe.
Because if we think about it, let's say the premieres sometimes are like 3 hours and they get out like one wedding.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to cover so many couples. So it makes sense why they could try to make this whole hour and a half Michael and Chloe. And of course because Michael has invited the other couples. Yeah. They're going to have their little opinions.
We're going to get a cameo from
reflection on their own relationship. We're
going to get a cameo from, I guess, Claire, Brendan, and Emily, because Austin and Becca aren't going to be there apparently.
Right.
So because if you think about it, usually a Married at First Sight wedding takes place over 3 episodes, right? We get the lead up,
we get 5 weddings.
Yeah, the lead up, the ceremony, reception. So I guess they're going to cover all of that in one episode, which I guess I'm thankful for. So I'm of different minds for this.
Yes. So yeah, that's what we may see next week. But we are here a little delayed. It's both of our faults. So be mad at both of us. But we are here to talk about it. I know a lot of people are excited just to hear these thoughts, or to share in your frustrations, or you may have not watched the episode because you just couldn't. And for that,
I've said it a couple of times this season. If you didn't watch this episode, don't watch the episode. watch After Party, because that is where the tea is spilled and the drama takes place.
Yes. I told one of my best friends, Gabby, who listens to this podcast. Hey, Gabby.
Hi, Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. Hey, Barbie. So she was watching the episode. I said, watch After Party. I was like, when you get to watch After Party.
And I'm so sorry, Canadians, that y'all don't get After Party. I
know. I don't know what to say.
Y'all are missing the good stuff. Find a way to pirate it. I don't know.
VPN, change your country. But and then I feel bad because we have one of our other friends, we're like a trio of best friends. So our other friend Karina, we were like, you should watch Married at First Sight. Watch Married at First Sight. She finally does this season. She's like, I don't know.
Dumpster fire season.
She has been listening to the podcast, so I do appreciate that. But I'm like, just stop. You don't have to watch the episodes. Just listen to the podcast. We did tell her season 12 is on Netflix. So she plans to go watch that. We like, you might enjoy it.
Yeah.
Drama, love, there's a lot of that.
A lot going on.
Yeah. But yes, make sure y'all go subscribe to our Love at First Sight feed. That's when you get all of our podcasts. Make sure you leave us a 5-star rating and review. We really appreciate it. We're going to shout out a couple here. So the first one I want to shout out is from Marielle Isabel. It says, I listen every week. It says, 5 stars. It says, I am a new mom and a teacher. I look forward to Jason and Aysha's podcast every week because it occupies me on my long commute and when I'm nursing the baby at night. I've been listening since Jason and Aysha started podcasting together, and it feels like conversation with friends and always makes me laugh. They are always on point with my feelings and these crazy people. Lately, I've been skipping the show here and there and listening to the podcast instead. Thanks, Aysha, Jason and Aysha. P.S. The Aysha Wealth bit is hilarious. Keep living your best life, Aysha.
Hey. When I was in flying over Texas, I looked down.
You saw me waving from my balcony.
I said that must be Aysha's house right there,
next to the helicopter.
Yeah, next to the helicopter pad. You know, the 3 swimming pools, the 2 tennis courts. So yeah, that's probably Aysha's house right there.
Why do you have me making fun of myself?
That's the best way to
you saw me holding pepper and cinnamon.
It's just a big self-portrait of you and the dogs that people can see from a plane. Like, you know, those art installations of people's, like, you know, big backyards where you can see
Spice Girls say hello.
You can only see it from the air.
Yes. So yes, thank you so much for that review. The next one's from Dixie 517, the best MAFS podcast. Even when the MAFS show itself drags on with sometimes boring episodes and often terrible matches. Often.
True.
This podcast finds fun ways to cover all the mess. Jason and Aysha are a great podcast duo. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
So much, Dixie. Appreciate it. So to kick off mine, I'm going to start with Jill 222888. I'm gonna need some like explanation on what that's about. It's just entitled
yeah 555.
Yeah, it's entitled Love It. It says, I just started watching MAFS again when I came across this podcast. It makes watching the show so much better. I look forward to hearing Aysha and Jason's thoughts each week. Thank you so much, Jill 22288. We appreciate it. The next one is from Shara Badu, entitled Laughter During the Week. After watching MAFS, it is now my ritual to listen to your podcast. It's great to debrief and listen to your perspectives. I enjoy how you slow it down. As a team, you unpack each issue, whether it's a microaggression, conversation, or expert visit. I appreciate how both of you are sensitive to all topics, culture, gender, class, etc. The best part is Jason's jokes and impersonations. The best parts? I'm down with that. Your accents have come a long way. Thank you very much, Shara Badu. I appreciate it.
I will say my mom said just when Jason got that Cameron accent down.
He decided to call out sick for the rest of the season. To continue on with the review, it's a must-have on your podcast list. Side note, Jason, tell Puya he needs more of you on his podcast. I will screenshot this review and send it right his way.
He'll just listen to the podcast.
I haven't been on the 90-day podcast in like a couple weeks, so I'm going to send this and make sure he gets me back on his roster.
He'll listen to this every week, Jason.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Remember that one time we had him on the podcast? He's like, yeah, I'm going to make sure to keep up with this season. Folks, he didn't. He did not. That was like 2 seasons ago.
He could have secretly kept watching. We don't know.
Very much doubt
We
it.
can't put that on him.
Very much doubt it. But I'm going to screenshot this review and send it his way so he makes sure to get me back on his podcast post haste. People are clamoring for it. The people are requesting it, Puya. Come on.
Yeah, what does Jason think about 90 Day?
Must know.
So yes, thank you so much for those 5 stars rating and review. Like we said, we are still working through them since y'all gave us so many. We so greatly appreciate it that y'all are enjoying this content because we enjoy talking about it. We had like a 30-minute podcast before this, an hour catch-up session.
Yep.
We're finally recording. So we greatly appreciate that y'all just enjoy us talking about this show that we would be talking about anyway. And so also make sure you go join the Facebook group. You can find that at A Perfect Match Podcast over on Facebook. This week, the password is
Naked Terrarium, everyone's favorite extracurricular activity.
Yeah, according to Austin. That man just continues to, he's intriguing.
He's very interesting and very like, I don't know. I have thoughts about Austin. We'll get into it.
Yeah. Okay. So yes. So with all that, all of the housekeeping out of the way, we'll talk about the episode.
Hey, we kept it under 15 minutes.
Right. We do our best.
So trim the fat, as a terrible review once said.
Yes. So with Austin, we're gonna start out with Austin and Becca. Get them out the way. You know, they didn't have much going on this episode. Where's my hat?
Cut my hair. This hat feels very roomy now.
And Mom.
Sorry, Mama Welch. I'm so sorry that I cut my hair.
Oh, she said she will gladly take you in as an adopted son. And
on my way.
I was like, as soon as I saw his hair, I was like, or as soon as I saw your hair,
I've been
I'm like talking to her, Mom. As soon as I saw his hair, I said, "Oh, she's gonna be mad.
I'm gonna be disowned. As soon as I was adopted, I'll be disowned."
Right. So actually, throwing the paperwork away. Okay, so we started with Austin and Becca. Austin takes Becca to Birdsall and Company. Somebody out in, I was supposed to say Nashville, in Denver. If you know that place, let us know, you know. So that he said he decided that they should build a sexy / naked terrarium. We have a confessional from him. He's like, we both love plants. He got some not safe for work figurines because she's a sex vixen, as her friend Lindsay said at the wedding.
Because she's a sex vixen, as her friend Lindsay said. The way Austin talks is so like, I don't know what it is.
Right. In cursive. She asked him, so they're building these terrariums, right? It's these little like glass boxes and putting like, moss and the figurines he got and like plants and stuff. And she's like, have you ever had sex on a bed of moss? And he's like, well, are you asking? Like, he was like, well, no, but I've had sex outside before. And so that cuts everybody's theories out there about Austin.
I don't know though. I don't know because
you feel like he's lying.
I don't know because as Austin is talking about, he's like, have I? Of course, I've had sex outside.
Haven't we all? Yeah,
totally. Like thousands of times, I've had sex outside. I've had sex outside so often. I just, when you love to do it outside
every day.
Yeah. Just everyone does that, right?
Don't you? That's the only place.
I'll start my day.
And so, he asked her like what she's into, like what type of stuff she's into. So this turns into a very like a physical intimacy type of conversation. So she says she's very sex positive. So she's just open to trying things, and she's usually just into whatever her partner enjoys. And so she asked him like, okay, in an ideal marriage, like how often would you want to have sex? And he says, once a day, maybe once every 2 days. She's like, okay.
He's like, what? Once a day? That's normal, right? That's people do that, right? Once a day, like he's on Jeopardy.
Right.
What is once a day, Alex? I'm sorry, Ken, at this point.
He's like, once a week, day? Hour? Once an hour.
Twice an hour. Once every 5 hours.
Once a month?
Stop me when I'm warm.
Right. So I was kind of surprised she agreed but then she was like, you know what? No one ever complains if it happens more than that. Basically saying like, you just lowballed it a bit for me, but
listen, Austin, I'll take whatever you're going to give me. Okay,
literally, that's what she said.
I'll take anything. I'm not going to push back on whatever you want to do.
Right. So we get a confessional from her. She's like, we really don't talk about this stuff. So she's like, I like anything I can learn more about him sexually is great. And so then he asked her, what did he ask her about, Jason?
No, this is your segment. I want to hear you bring it up.
I didn't finish typing that part of my notes.
Again, shocked that Aysha took Austin and Becca.
It was them or Emily and Brennan. I just he asked her about an action that starts with a P.
Oh, come on.
What was it?
All right. They talk about pegging, okay?
And she was like, wait, what? You're into that? And he's like, I retract the question.
He's like, I don't know. I heard you say it once, and I'm not even sure what it is. What is it? I don't know. Hey, to each their own.
Oh my god!
Listen, if Austin likes pegging, I'm not gonna spurch the man.
He retracted his question.
I retract the question. I went too far, obviously.
I was like, there just is no middle ground, because how y'all go from that is just like, haven't even talked about it. They're at the point where she wasn't even aware he was open to the little things, like other stuff outside of the actual act. And then now you're trying to have this conversation at this plant place.
He just seems so inexperienced that, like, whenever he mentions something, like, Becca's always surprised. She's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I didn't expect that to come out of your mouth.
I think we were going to bring that up, but okay, sure.
It's like, we're here. So then we get a segment where all the guys are together, and
all the guys, the two guys, the two guys left.
All the guys from this experiment were, going through this 8-week thing. Austin and Brennan.
It's just such a sad sight. It's just sad. It's such a sad scene. Like, you're gonna get the whole gang. Like, I commented on because we post a preview for the episode every week when it comes out on social media, and I'm like, it's so nice that Michael invited the whole gang to his wedding. The gang being 4 people left at this point.
Right.
a hanger on in Claire
who won't let go.
The fifth wheel.
Literally, what's her name? She was with. She's the one who's just like, they were playing tennis. That one season. Alyssa, yes. Yeah. Claire is living Alyssa's dream.
I'm here for my girls.
Yes. Alyssa's like, what? They're letting her do it. That's what I wanted to do.
I still live in the apartment. I still get to hang out with the couples, the 2 of them.
Still be on the show.
Yeah.
So Austin and Brennan together, which is a very interesting duo, because Brennan does not like talking about his feelings. Austin doesn't say much when they're in a group setting. Mm-hmm. So it just, I wonder how involved the producer was in this conversation.
They had to keep stoking the conversation. Like, okay,
like,
now talk about this.
Yes.
Yeah. Brennan's like, I didn't get my script for the day. Can I?
They just felt like they were having this conversation against their will, because it just did not feel like 2 bros catching up about their relationship. Yeah. Like, it felt very different than, like, even when Orion and Cameron were talking.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, that felt like a genuine conversation.
Just juxtapose that with, you had the 2 guys and you had the 3 girls talking.
Yes.
The 3 girls were much more, the conversation flowed. With these 2, it's like they're in a hostage video. They just can't, like, all right, I've been told to talk about this now. What do you think about this now? Like, the producer just told me to ask you this question.
Exactly.
What's your response?
On Austin's end of this conversation, he's saying, like, you know, he's found that he knows that Becca is more sexually driven than he is, and he has to be, like he said, he has to be conscious about it in order to like try to be more like physically intimate with her.
Yeah, he's got to actively try. Like,
yes,
it's no longer and Austin's going to talk about this a lot in this episode. It's not a natural progression anymore. He has to actually put effort and really try to be more intimate, which kind of ruins it, I guess, for him. Which is his whole problem.
Yes. And so he was like, and it's just turned into this thing where the problem's not even the problem anymore. It's just everything that has come out of the problem, because he's like, because they're talking about it so much that it turns into these other things. And so then it's all the other stuff is the problem, instead of just like the fact that they have not consummated their marriage. I had started to seek, well, no, not with how fresh, well, not, okay, before their talk with Dr. Pepper this episode, I started to think maybe
Dr. Pia.
What did I say? Dr. Pepper, yeah. You know why? Let's talk about it. I was going to do this before this episode. I was going to go back and see how many episodes Dr. Pia has been on this season.
I want to say almost every single one.
It feels like it. And she's putting in overtime by doing that, because that's been our complaint since we started podcasting about this show, is the experts are not involved enough. The experts are not involved enough. And then now they're throwing Dr. Pia at these situations, and it's the worst success rate. We've never had 2 couples remaining, and they're putting this on her. That's so much, like, this is her first full season as a full expert, and it's just like, this better not go on her performance review.
No, I said a few episodes back, this is Dr. Pia's training mode. Okay, they're like, there's nothing you can really mess up here, because obviously these relationships are over. So we're just giving you some experience in doing this thing. So to have that at Dr. Pia, Dr. Pepper is who knows where. She pops up to give good news and ducks out. Pastor Cal.
Like, oh, we're restarting the season? I'm there.
Right. None of these people are having sex, so Pastor Cal is uninterested. Pascal don't want to talk to you unless you're banging.
Call me when that happens.
Yeah, when there's some action happening, get me back out here, because otherwise you're wasting my time.
It's so frustrating too, because I don't want this to be a reflection of her, but I do get that. Maybe they just see these couples, they were already doomed, so let's send her out there. But I feel bad.
Pascal said, talk to me when Michael and Chloe start banging, okay? Because that's the only time I'm coming back.
Watch, it literally is going to work like that. We're gonna there's Pastor Cal all of a sudden.
Pascal's gonna come back after honeymoon. So are y'all having sex yet? No.
We're like, why does he only talk to Michael and Chloe?
Bye. Call me at decision day. I'll be there. I'll be there then. Otherwise, don't bother me.
And we'll get into it, but just what Dr. P is being subjected to and the disrespect is just very uncalled for. And very we'll get into it. I can't pull from those emotions right now. I'm trying to be in Austin and Becca mode. So Becca is with Emily and Claire. Why is Claire there? I don't know.
Claire said, technically, I'm still married. We did not put our rings on the table. So technically, we are married. Okay. So I'm still part of the experiment. My husband is out sick. She so wishes that she didn't have that conversation with Cameron right before he got sick. Because if they had just kept in it, Cameron would have had this issue and she would have been able to still be, really, really part of the show. But no, because
concerned.
Because they had that whole 1, 2, 3 divorce thing, now it's like, but listen.
She's like, maybe I'll cut it.
Like I said, no one took their rings off. We're still married. Okay.
Maybe she's operating under the assumption at this point that she's like, okay, maybe if this happened with Cameron, maybe they won't show us having that conversation. So I'm gonna just still act. Just in case she's operating like Brennan, just in case they cut that from the script, I'm gonna keep being there. I'm gonna still be on it till death do us part. For sickness and health, I'm gonna show up.
Cameron did not get the note.
Yeah, he said.
Cameron's like, who?
Why are you here?
Who was Claire?
They're like, Claire, here to see you with the Married at First Sight camera crew. Why?
Why is Claire here?
Oh, so for Becca says, she said, I who would have thought that none of us would be getting laid right now?
Nobody. No one thought that. Like, what are we even doing?
And so she really does want things to progress faster. She wants things to progress further faster. And so so that really was like the main thing from Becca coming out of that conversation with the girls. So then it's Becca and Austin. They're in bed. They're preparing for Dr. Pia to come over. Becca has a pickle. I originally thought it was a cucumber, but she has a pickle. She's acting like it's a mic and a microphone. And so she's like, why are you nervous for tonight? She's like, what about Dr. Pia makes you nervous? And she's asking him, like, does sex make you nervous? And he's like responding, but I don't think these are like genuine answers. So I didn't even take note of like, because he's like,
but he just walks into these uncomfortable situations. He's like, we're both moving at very different paces, and that could really cause some grinding. And we're like, okay, because you can't
use the laugh track.
You can't say a sexually entendre word without Becca be like, oh, you said grinding. He's like, okay, I mean friction.
She's trying to. She's just like, anything he can say.
It really makes Becca look like a 20-year-old frat guy who's just, whenever you say something weird, she's like, oh, that's what she said.
She's really just trying to she's trying to pull at anything because she's just like, you can't blame her for just having this desire for Austin. And she just is like, why aren't we on the same page, basically? Mm-hmm. And so, he says, like, we're obviously moving at different paces. And Becca says, like, she just wants to hear Dr. Pia's thoughts about all this. And she just wants to know, like, how does she stay patient and how to make him comfortable? And, like, is there a middle ground for all that? Can both of those things be true? Dr. Pia walks in. She's wearing red for a change. I said, okay, Dr. Pia? I'm like, I don't even have any red in my wardrobe.
Has she disassociated with her sorority? What's going on?
No. We have like pink goes red days.
Okay.
And so he says things are going well. Becca says that, Austin said things are going well. And then Dr. Pia asked, like, okay, last conversation, we talked about intimacy. And so how's that going? And Austin's like, well, it's going, slower than expected, or slower than we anticipated. He says time has just flown by and we just haven't progressed that much. And it's mostly on him. So I'm glad he at least took accountability. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Pia is like, well, what's the barrier? And he's like, well, a couple of times like that we were intimate, but we didn't like go that far.
He's going back and forth. He's like, well, we have done a lot more, but not much.
Yeah.
We have made out longer, but not a lot.
Pretty quick.
Yeah. Like, what?
I was like, is this what was that thing I said from Zoom? Dr. or Fannie Mae.
Fannie Mae, the student loan borrower?
Oh, that is.
Trust me, I have a relationship with Fannie Mae. I know who that is.
Fannie Dooley, or I can't remember. Let me not go down that train of thought again. Fannie Dooley. It was okay. I wasn't too far off. Fannie Dooley. Okay, so, and so Becca says like she has not had a relationship that moves this slowly, or a relationship that where she hasn't felt as desired. And this comment seems like it wakes Austin up a little bit because I don't think he realized it was to that extent that she didn't feel desired by him at all. And he's like, well, the desire is there. I just tend to move slower than most. And she's like, I desire him. And it's just hard for me to understand how he doesn't like want to show that back if he does. Because she feels like she's trying to show it, but there's that resistance. And so she's like, even if it's like a longer makeout every now and then, like, because I feel like she's trying to say, like, I'm not asking for much.
Like, I'm not asking for banging right now. Like, even if we just progress to that,
right?
Just something
like longer cuddle sessions. Like, doesn't have to be that extent.
Yeah, I mean, and Becca, she's willing to do that, but that's for Becca still moving at a snail's pace.
That's her compromise.
Right. Yeah.
And so Dr. Pia is like, okay, what's holding you back, Austin? He's like, I don't know. Like, I feel like we have an emotional connection, and I wanted to wait until I was more ready. And I felt like all we kept doing was talking about it. And then I just got more in my head about it. And so Dr. Pia is like, okay, I see now that there's this hypervigilance is taking away for the excitement for you for sex. He's like, yeah, I'm just in my head. And so Dr. Pia is like, okay, a little bit of foreplay is missing. What does foreplay look like for y'all? And Becca's like, look, it doesn't even have to be sexual. It could be just like everyday things, not even in a physical way. Like just little things can be the buildup, right? And he's like, and Austin's like, oh, well, that's all new for me. So Austin's not used to non-physical foreplay, basically.
I don't even think the word foreplay is just new to Austin in general.
He's like
Austin's ready. Austin's previous time, we're just gonna get into it, and wham bam, thank you, ma'am, is Austin's thing maybe right. In his past relationships. I still don't know what Austin's sexual past has been. Does he have a sexual past? We don't know. We don't know for sure. He says he does, but the actions are not matching up with it.
Right. And so Dr. Pia asks, okay, well, would you be willing to initiate foreplay earlier, like throughout the day, like text him while he's at work? Like, can't wait to see, can't wait to see you. She said, can't wait to see you naked tonight. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's probably a lot for Austin.
Yes.
And so Becca doesn't want him to feel pressured. But with this idea of like texting him while he's at work or whatever, he's like, I don't know, we could try it. And so Dr. Pia said, okay, we're going to work on removing expectations. And I'm like, how many people this is the fourth, that's like the the dying last words for these couples.
This is just focus on having fun. This is we're going to reset. This is, we're going to drop
Take
expectations.
Away the pressure.
Yeah. All these things that are so easy to say,
mm-hmm.
but almost impossible to do in practice.
Let's not talk about this anymore. Let's not until the next time you meet with an expert.
Yeah. You know that gaping wound in your arm? Just don't think about it. Just think the pain away. Like I mean, I get the sentiment, but it doesn't really work.
Exactly. Because like these couples keep needing that advice. And it's because they are attacking issues. They're trying to address issues that do need to be attacked head on because they are crucial to them being a successful couple. Mm-hmm. So
it's like when she told Cameron and Claire just to have fun. And then they go out to have fun, like, okay, remember, we're supposed to just be having fun. At this point, you're just, if Austin was already in his head, he's just going to be more in his head, like, okay, drop expectations, but you're kind of doing the opposite of that by having it on your mind. So have fun.
Mm-hmm. Now the expectation is to drop expectations.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
And so Dr. Pia said, y'all really care about each other. Y'all go together. I thought that was so funny.
Austin's like, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
I don't understand that reference.
Have you heard Carisha from City Girls? Have you heard that reference?
No.
Because she was interviewing P. Diddy or Diddy, whatever people call him these days, because they were dating. This is pre allegation stuff. Yeah.
Pre the canceling of Puffy.
Pre Diddy's parties awareness. So she told him, she's like, do we go together? And he's like, I don't know, do we? She said, we go together real bad.
I'm sure Diddy's old ass is like, what is that?
Yeah, he said, what is she saying? But I thought that was so funny. Dr. Pia said, y'all go together. You're married. I think she had...
let me put it in parlance for you two, because I know I might have said something in a different language right now to you two.
Right. She goes, y'all go together, winks at the camera, aka you're married. Oh my gosh. Okay, so they did get a basket from Dr. Pia at their door. with
you know, kids, back in my day, this was the sex week where people that were having sex got more into having sex and exploring more about the sex. But that was back in my day when people on this show had sex, okay? And they didn't need to be bullied into having sex. They just did it naturally.
Because they wanted to.
Yeah, this would be the week where we talked about it more. But this week is spent on one couple where the man is being bullied and tormented into making sure he's having sex with his wife, and another couple where we're not even bringing up the word sex.
Could you imagine if Emily said,
"Oh, gross," he would run out of the apartment.
Can you believe she just said that to me? She wants to do that with me?
Me? Yuck.
Oh my gosh. That completely caught me off guard. But yes, that is so true. We're supposed to be getting this from multiple couples. Multiple couples are exploring that type of intimacy. Even the 1 month episode, I was like, if you blinked, you would have missed it.
We had a breakup at the 1 month episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first Married at First Sight season, please come back again next week, or go revisit old ones. Watch season 11, watch season 10. That's a great one. That's a very entertaining one. Even go to Netflix and watch season 12. I won't say it's an amazing season, but it at least is a proper Married at First Sight season with most couples. You do get a little, there's a lot of drama actually, but it is a good watch. I don't know what we are watching this season. I don't
know what's in the water in Denver, okay? But I think it's like libido crushing for these men because these guys they're just not into it at all.
They're just, oh my goodness. So, oh, Jason, that was a good one. So, my cheeks hurt. So, they got this basket from Dr. Pia. It has like handcuffs, vibrators, soy massage candles. Becca smells the candle. She said, "Smells like sex."
Austin's like, "Really?"
Austin's like, "Really?"
I have no idea what it smells like.
And so they turned their apartment into like a jungle gym, knocked over different stuff. The activity is just to guide each other through this obstacle course. It only ends up being him guiding her. Someone in the Facebook group said they thought that they have seen them do this activity already on the previous episode. Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. I was like, maybe they like showed a glimpse or something, like something that got left on the cutting room floor, because we never saw her lead him through it.
No.
Yeah. So he guides her out. She's blindfolded. The goal is to navigate over these things and then say an intimate thing.
Well, the person that is guiding the blindfolded person is supposed to reveal an intimate detail about themselves once the person blindfolded gets through an obstacle.
Yes.
Okay, sure.
Great reading of the rules. Yeah. So Austin ends up saying 3 things. So the first thing he said is his feet are ticklish. The second thing is he really likes it when she talks dirty.
I said, really? Because every time we've seen it, you look very uncomfortable.
Right. He's like,
that's why you're going to hell, Becca.
My goodness. And she says, the third thing, he was trying to think. She's like, okay, say something about my boobs. He's like, oh, you have really great bleep. So I guess he said like
the T word.
The T word. And so we get a confessional where she says like she's respecting that he doesn't have the same comfort level as she does. And she thinks if she's just patient, good things will come.
Literally.
So So she's just trying to be patient with him. And
I did like the N64 in the background of the obstacle course shot. I did see their N64 as Becca was going through the obstacle course. I was like, oh, that's a reference I understand.
Right.
They love N64.
Yeah. Maybe, and they probably do play a lot.
Probably.
Yeah.
They're busy not doing sex stuff, so I guess they're busy playing N64.
Yeah. And so we see Austin setting up the apartment. Okay. So he says he does see that their intimacy is affecting Becca. And so he's setting up candles all the way around the apartment, and he put up rose petals on the bed on After Party, which we will reference a lot in the next segment. Emily had an issue.
Who came out guns blazing against everybody this week. She's had enough. She's had enough to hear with everybody, including Rudy. Okay, she's coming after everyone. I'm surprised Michael didn't get any
Yes. So Emily had an issue with. She said Austin didn't even set all this up himself. He had help.
Emily knows the real tea, and she is blurring it out everywhere she goes. Okay?
And this is what I read from that. So Emily, this is a friend, right, of Becca's. Mm-hmm. So Emily is upset because she's like, he didn't even do all of that himself. He had the help. He had so much help. And then Austin's defense was, it was all my idea. I may have gotten assistance, but it was all my idea. This is what I think. Uh-huh. I think this was great for Becca. She loved this. And it's like, okay, this is what he's capable of. And if they stay married, he is no longer capable of that after they stay married because he doesn't ever do it again. So therefore she's like, well, what was that when we're on the show? Is it just because you had help? Was that production's idea for you to do that? Because why haven't you done it again?
Yeah. And what Emily is saying without saying is that production set all that up.
Mm-hmm.
And Austin didn't do anything, to help with that. And Austin's like, well, no, I wrote down the stuff for them to get. Candles and rose petals. I don't think they needed your guidance for that, Austin. I think they would have just picked that stuff up anyway. I'm pretty sure they have a warehouse full of that crap because they use it so often on this show.
They carried in a bag to every scene.
Yeah, they buy it from a wholesaler because they don't want to spend the extra money getting it from wherever for every season.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like, you didn't even do that yourself. You had help with it. He's like, I wrote this stuff down for them to get. I was like, oh man, she really came at Austin hard.
Yes.
In this after party.
It felt like Emily was there proxying as Becca, but obviously mm-hmm. Emily more upset because it's the friend who isn't involved in every single, like, when you tell your friends things about your relationship, they're gonna, like, if Becca was really upset about that and vented to Emily is going to hang on to that frustration, even if Becca has moved on.
Yeah, and it feels like it's more about things that may happen in the future than just this thing.
Yes.
Because, well, first of all, again, I'm on ring finger patrol. Austin had on no wedding ring in this after party.
I just noticed Michael didn't. I was like, oh, it's because he hadn't gotten married yet.
But I'm like, what are the rules now with after party? Because I thought it used to be you were required to wear your wedding ring to keep up the continuity of the timeline that you're still married. So I don't know what's going on because I feel like, I mean, this is like, I'm not spoiled. I don't know spoilers, but I feel like if Austin and Becca were still married, he would just naturally have the wedding ring on anyway. Mm-hmm. And he would have had it on after party.
To not give it away. Yeah.
You're right. And the fact that Emily is coming so hard at Austin and Emily and Becca are besties also tells me that, like you said, Emily is Becca's proxy here. And speaking for Becca.
If I was Austin, I would have side-eyed Emily so hard. Like, why are you coming at me like that?
Yeah.
Unless he understands. Unless there's stuff we just don't know yet.
Maybe. I mean, but Austin being the good guy he is was like, even after Emily gives him like both barrels, this is even the last thing that we'll talk about with Emily giving Austin the business. Mm-hmm. And when later in the after party, Emily gets emotional going into the break, he's like trying to comfort her. Austin's such a little sweet soul. I just, y'all give him so much trouble for this. But let's keep going with the episode itself.
So Becca walks in, she has food and a milkshake. He's like, oh, lovely, a single milkshake for the both of us.
She's like, yes, I got this for the both of us.
Yes, let me grab 2 cups because This was definitely for both of us.
Let me grab another straw from the drawer because I only got one.
I didn't just get one because I was craving it. I believe you just asked for a burger.
So, don't recall you asking for a milkshake.
Right.
But okay.
Say. And so he put like there's some chocolate covered strawberries on the bed, rose petals. She says that in a confessional, she's like, I initiate deep intimacy 99% of the time. So this is great to see. They play truth or dare in the bed. One of them is like, what's the truth of like what's his favorite body part on her? He likes her pink hair, her eyes, her boobs, her smile, her laugh. Keeps going. Just all of Becca. And then his question he asked her is like, have you had sex anywhere in public? Or like, where would you want to have sex anywhere in public? And she says that she would like it on a balcony, like somewhere they're staying. And he like gestures towards their balcony. And she's like, why are you playing her like that?
You know
you're not open to that.
You know you're not gonna do that.
So she's like, oh, well, it's very cold. And so then she asked him, what's your very best sex move? And what would you name it? He was like, I shouldn't say that one. I got a lot of them.
I have so many. I mean, you know, I have so many that I did with my girlfriend from Canada, who's definitely real and not fake. Right. I just have so many to choose from. I just can't choose one.
Right. Oh, there's so many. And then Becca's like, look, this is foreplay to me. And then he winks and he's like, do you want to play now? And she's like, wait, are you serious? Like, do the play? And he's like,
we'll find out from Emily on After Party. He is not serious.
Exactly. He's like, do the play? And she's like, she's so confused. Like, wait, is this about to happen? And so then they start making out. And she's like, oh, what do you call this? And I can't remember what he called it.
He says this. He said that this was his move. His grabbing her head.
He's like, oh, and you took my move. Yeah, we were too deep into that. Yeah. And so then they close the door, and this is where we would think, okay, next week we're going to hear about how they consummated, because he said a lot more than he normally says. And then we find out an after party, and he's like, and right after that, nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Emily's like, me and Brendan lived under them, and we heard everything going on. She said that she heard the whole obstacle course thing going on. She's like, and I know that after this, nothing happened. Like, you know, that was a phone call next morning.
Yeah, she literally, girl, he said, do you want to play? He said play. And he even said like, oh, the balcony. And nothing happened. We went to sleep.
Happened. Girl.
Because he's like, oh my gosh. Yes. So nothing happened, guys.
So here's my thing with Austin, right? I think we're being a little too hard on Austin, okay? I think Austin, as he said several times, he just moves slowly. I think within that Pia conversation, she was like, so how long does it usually take you to engage in physical intimacy? He said 3 to 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're together 2 months.
I said, wow. And the thing about this is that what Austin's brain isn't comprehending is that this whole experiment is like dating on steroids, right? In a normal relationship, you're not around each other every day. You're not coming home to someone you're dating. Mm-hmm. You're seeing them, whatever frequency you do, a couple times a week, 4 times, however many times a week you see this person. You see them, you go on dates, but you typically maybe separate at the end of the night. Sometimes you may not. But I don't think Austin is really comprehending that, because in this scenario, usually people get busy within the first week, 2 weeks, you know, in when things are going well. Mm-hmm. which they are in Austin and Becca's case. Yeah. If we had someone else in this scenario, like a Chris and Nicole, didn't take them this long to engage in physical intimacy. Mm-hmm. So I just don't think Austin is comprehending that. Austin's like, well, I usually move at this pace, so what's the problem? The problem is this isn't a normal relationship.
Y'all are married and this is different.
Right. Y'all are spending so much time together that this is kind of like how this is. You're almost like month 4, right? Like of a normal dating relationship. So right. I don't think he's processing that in his brain, that this is a much more sped up thing, and he can't even put it into words why he can't. He just says, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just move slow. But this is not a move slow type of thing. This is a move fast thing. This is what you're in. Is we're moving fast. That's the whole point of this. I just don't think he can get past what he quote unquote usually does.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he doesn't desire to rip Becca. I think he likes Becca just fine. I think he finds her attractive. I think that he's down to clown. He's stuck in this mindset of it hasn't been long enough. It hasn't been long enough. It hasn't been long enough. He just can't give a concrete reason.
Yeah.
There's so many conspiracy theories about Austin out there on the interwebs, including, he may not like women. He's a virgin. There's so many theories. I just think he said, he's stuck in his head about it, and there's such a spotlight on it now. I think what he said is accurate about how he's feeling.
Yeah, that was like that season 10. That one couple that, what were their names? What's his name? Austin?
Yeah, Austin and Jessica.
Yes, where he wouldn't say "I love you" because of the timing.
Right.
I feel like it's one of those things, is that this is a bigger deal because Becca really wants them to advance in that way in their relationship. There was another thing on After Party where Emily said that there was a moment where Becca was trying to come on to Austin and he pushed her off the bed and said, "Get off me, horny girl."
Listen, apparently there's a lot of that going around this season, because the same thing happened with Cameron and Claire on another After Party.
He was like, "No, we were joking." Were you joking? And it didn't land because that's a very sensitive, this is a touchy topic right now in y'all's relationship.
Yeah.
And to joke like that in that moment,
yeah,
not
gonna do it, Austin.
Oh gosh,
Austin's gonna need to step up. That's what he's gonna have to do. I understand he now feels a bunch of pressure because they are constantly talking about it. It's really it's one of two big issues in their relationship,
right? Yeah, because even if they consummate it, all right, back on religion.
Yeah. Is the religion thing part of what's hampering this? Does he not want to do it because he's not sure whether or not he wants
they're gonna last?
Yeah,
it could be. Yeah, it could be a very circular thing.
It's tough.
Yeah. So, let's rate them 1 to 5. 1 being we think they're going to be broken up by the reunion. 5 think we think they're definitely going to be together. What would you rate them?
Man, what is the history about?
We've been at a 4 since episode 10.
I'll keep it at the 4. I feel like I'm hoping this resolves itself at some point. I'm hoping that we come into an episode and they're just like, guess what? We did it last night. Ah. I feel like this is something that should be easily overcome. Phrasing. I'll stick with my 4.
I'm gonna go down to a 3. I've been hanging on, and I was hanging on because of the religion conversation, and just if they can't find a middle ground or something that works for them, that's going to be really important, because if it's not an issue now, it will be an issue when they start having kids and decide how they want to raise their kids. And so they haven't even resolved that. And Emily is frustrated on Becca's behalf. But if Becca is this frustrated and they can't find a middle ground, especially now, I would have been at a 4 if I hadn't known that they did not go ahead, consummate that night. It felt like all the pieces were there.
And that's a trick they used on us several times. I remember, was it Katina and Elijah one, where they had this, because they also were waiting for a while before they did they go the whole season without doing it?
I can't remember.
I think they did go the whole season, and that was more of his thing because I forgot what his reasoning was, but he was a weirdo anyway. But they do the whole thing and they're like, all right, we're going to close the door now. And then we come back the next episode yeah, no, we didn't do it. So they've done this to us before.
Yeah. They're like, we took our mics off and went to bed.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you got me rethinking my 4, but I'll leave it at a 4.
Okay. Which couple do you want to talk about next?
Let's take on another heavy hitter, Brendan and Emily. If you all will recall, we came out of Hot Tub Gate last episode, so we're kind of touching on that again when we come into this episode. It's the day after. They're at the kitchen counter, and our production has hogtied Brennan and made him sit at the counter to talk to Emily about the whole situation. He tells her, listen, I wasn't in the right headspace to talk the night before, but now I am. And he's like, so what's on your mind? Because I care so much about what's on your mind. The production didn't just make me ask that. What's on your mind? She says, well, last night I assumed that you weren't really going to fate. And she said, I wasn't trying to attack you, but it upsets her when he won't answer her questions. And it feels like he's really shutting down, even though they said they're going to do this whole reset thing. And, it really makes her feel bad when he does that type of thing. And, in the most scripted way possible, he says, I understand that you're not feeling supported. I am not trying to hurt you, and I will work on how I come across and my delivery. Put the script down. She says that she appreciates him being open and having a civil conversation about it, and they just really need to work hard on it. In a confessional, she says, the apologies mean nothing if he just keeps acting the way he is and keeps putting in minimal effort. Again, you should have said that to him to his face.
Literally, yeah.
And he said, and they talk about, Dr. Pepper asked us to write a note to our younger self. I said, are we now at this point putting 2 theme weeks together?
Yeah,
the sex week and the talk to our younger selves week.
I wish I would have gotten a video of the eye roll when I heard that. Yeah. I was like, oh, come on.
What is this going to do?
I was like, Brennan in this picture.
Oh, God. The notes to younger selves look again.
That's the last couple that need to be talking to their younger selves. Like, they have so many other issues. That's not the issue.
We're dwelling on the past of our younger selves.
My gosh.
So they write the little notes. They come back together. Emily's note is basically all about how her dad pushed her so hard in sports and how it made her mad and sad. She says, but it was important to who she is now, and it's what really, built up her drive. And she wouldn't have the success that she has today without that. So she's kind of 2 minds of it. She reminds herself that she's more than soccer. She says she would be proud to see younger her would be proud to see where she ends up.
I wonder, was this a main part of her story as a person? Like when they were getting to know her and they were trying to find her a match, because we heard about it at the hot tub. We heard about it now. We're going to hear about it during soccer, when they go play soccer. I was just like, we're hearing about this quite a lot. Like, I understand how, like, it's very important to who she is today. But not a single time did we get anything that you think a husband would say in response.
No, of course not. Of course not, because it's Brennan. But I'm trying to remember if we saw Emily's dad at the wedding. I can't even really picture any of her family at the wedding. I can't remember her mom, her dad. I can't remember any of it. Her in particular, but I don't know. Yes, this is a very big issue for Emily because it's an issue that will haunt us the whole episode. Usually this exercise is about what you want in a relationship and how it relates to you in your relationship, but she just was stuck on this dad thing the whole time. This must have been like a very pared down version of her letter, because she had like 3 pages of letter when you was writing. She's like, all right, all done. She's like unrolling 3 pages of this legal pad. I was like, oh my gosh. I can just imagine she's going these 3 pages and Brennan's just like, oh my gosh, let me.
He like keeps looking over.
I'll do anything to get out of this. Please, just let me go, Montre. Just let me leave.
He does this.
What? Oh yeah, your dad's terrible. No.
Oh my goodness.
But Brennan goes through his letter. His letter is basically telling about how much pressure younger him felt to succeed when he was younger. He says, don't be in a rush to grow up. Be proud of who you are. Emily asks, so who did you used to go for advice when you were younger? He says, one of his friend's dads was his mentor. He was a big real estate guy, and Brennan used to pick his brain all the time when Brennan was just 13 years old. He says, the other kids were off doing fun things. And he says, now I wish I'd enjoyed my life a bit more when I was a kid and not be in a rush to grow up. In a confessional, Emily says, oh, this gives me so much insight into who Brennan is. I said, really? Okay, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, if you say so. At the little group get together, Brennan is talking to Austin about him and Emily's reset. And he says, we things are so much better now. He's really just want to enjoy each other. Like it almost feels like he's looking right into the camera. He's like, things are so much better now. This reset is really just a way for us to enjoy each other. He says it's been good for us. He says, well, it's been good for me. He says, we've really been trying to work through it to get into a better place. And Emily with the ladies is saying, it's so hard. We have different communication styles, and they talked everything out. And we just want to move on and focus on the positives. Becca's like, you're doing so much for this relationship. You need so many kudos for that. She's really trying to pep Emily up. Emily just keeps saying, I'm just trying to be positive and take it day by day. I feel like she was giving Brendan a hard time, and he kept saying day by day. Now he's saying it. Brendan says, he says he's talking to Austin. He says, for this reset to work, it's really critical that we have no plans. and take it day by day. Again, with a day by day.
That is such a cop out.
Yeah, he says, I think we're in a really good place now. No, you're not.
You're in a place that you want to be, where y'all aren't acting like husband and wife. That's exactly what you want.
I just love when he said it's critical. It's critical that we have no plans.
That's an important piece of this agenda.
I don't want to do anything with this girl, and it's important that I be able to not have to do anything with her. That we plan nothing.
It's key.
It's key. So next scene that we get is Brendan talking to one of his best friends, Richie. Richie comes on the Zoom. He's like, "What's up, my boy?"
Yeah.
Okay. Brendan says,
"Can I just say I like Richie?
Richie awesome.
Understands Brendan to a T.
Yeah, and really kind of called Brendan out in a couple of different ways.
Yes.
Brendan does say, he knows Richie is one of his best friends, and he won't hold back and will give his honest opinion. Brendan, tells Richie about the challenges of not feeling the romance, even though they get along. They have so much fun together. I said, now, Brendan, why are you lying? Richie says, actions in these cases speak so much louder than words. Brendan says, well, I'm trying to hug her more. Doesn't that count? In order to feel close to her? Richie tells Brendan, Brendan, you really get stuck in your head a lot and usually it's a bunch of little things that have happened that can ruin your connections. He talks about how Brendan's previous relationships with roommates, how something minor will set Brendan off and will get him in his head and he won't be able to snap out of it. And he says, it seems you're closing the door to Emily, and you have to do more to show that you can move past all the different things before to move forward. Brendan says, well, we're having lunch and dinner together a bunch. Doesn't that count? No, Brendan.
I was like, if this were Emily's friend, they would be like, yeah, that's progress. That's good. Not the friends who called him out, but just just a friend who's just not trying to cause any friction. Mm-hmm. But Richie said, you have lunch with friends. Yeah. Okay.
Look, I can do that. I can have lunch with you today. You're not trying to, be married to me. He tells Brendan, you need to be more flirtatious, fun, and easygoing. Don't make doing things with Emily chores. Which Richie nailed it on the head. That's how Brendan feels about all these things he has to do with and for Emily. They are chores at this point. He signed himself up for this show, and now he has to go through the whole thing, against his will almost. Brendan says, we could be better. He says, I'm not perfect. I could be better with my words. I could be better at expressing myself. Richie says, it's a good foundation, but you have to do more. Asking her about her day, getting your hugs in. I was like, oh gosh, this stupid freaking hugs. Richie says, it seems like you're almost kind of just going through the motions. Damn, Richie, call him out.
Yes, King.
Yes. King Richie. Right. Brendan says they're going to have more conversations and try to get deeper to enhance the connection. Richie asks Brendan, so is there even a chance here that you guys could click? Brendan says, in his biggest BS tone and speech, he's like, she is one of the most amazing humans I've ever met. She's so caring, so giving, so sweet, and she's amazing. And I really hope that the romance part is going to come for us. Now, Brendan. You know you don't feel this stuff. Most of the time when we see you together, you look like you can't stand this woman, can't stand her. But now you're saying she's the most amazing human. Okay.
Oh, all of a sudden you're just in awe about the person that Emily is. It's all, I mean, we've been saying it. It's just all very scripted because his actions don't show it. The eye rolls don't show it. The physical discomfort when you're around her does not show that, okay, I may not be into this marriage, but I admire her as a person. Cameron, I think, truly does admire Claire as a person because his actions show that. He is gentle with her. He is kind. It's just like that marriage was not serving him, that's a good example of, okay, I think I could believe what you're saying. But look at this man. That's not the man of somebody who is just in awe.
Trying to be as far apart on this couch as he possibly can be, head down, just like, oh my God.
They're like, Brennan, you're falling off the couch. It's okay, I'm comfortable.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm where I want to be right now.
Right.
So they go play indoor soccer. And honestly, it seems to be they're having fun with this. Brennan, I think that Brennan is trying his hardest to seem like he's having fun here. She talks about how often
forced smiles.
Yeah. She talks about how often she would play, how she was a captain of her soccer team, and soccer was basically her life for a while. They kick the ball around. She does very well. She kind of kicks his ass at it, but it seems like they're having fun. Brendan seems like he's being a good sport in the moment. In a confessional, he says he's really impressed with her soccer skills. He says, this feels really good. They sit, they talk, and she talks about how good she got at soccer and at sports, and again talks about her dad pushed her so hard that it kind of made her fall out of love with the sport a little bit. Brennan says, he can really relate on working hard to get better at sports. He says, because he had to do the same thing. He says he wishes he had someone to push him like her dad pushed her. I was like, you're taking this woman's feelings and just totally just invalidating them.
Like she has, this is the third time at this point, right? She has told you how this has made her feel. And the first time you decide to really engage, you take this opportunity to just dismiss her feelings and be like, I would have liked that. Why wouldn't you? Didn't appreciate that? He was pushing you. I would have
someone screamed
loved
at me
to have that. Yeah. I wanted a coach.
Yeah, she again talks about, it was a lot. Her dad used to yell at her to push her to be better. And she says there's a lot to handle when growing up. Brendan says, well, it sounds refreshing that your dad believed in you. Yeah. And he asked her, did it help you later in life? She says, yeah, I guess so. In terms of with my leadership skills, he's like, yeah, I can see that, your charm and your charisma and your ability to lead people. She says that it also taught her commitment and not giving up on teams or people. As she looks at Brennan.
Right.
And Brennan's just like looking down on the ground like, whatever.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but it was just so interesting to see him be like, yeah, wish I had someone yelling at me like that. I probably would have been better at things. Just as you said, totally invalidating what she was feeling in the moment.
Like this is a moment of her being vulnerable, opening up to you, she's trying to let you in and understand who she is. That's your moment to not okay, let's unpack that. You don't have to have the clear approach, but just like, okay, if you want it, like, wow, okay, I can see, like, ask more about that. Not, oh, I would have loved that. Yeah. What I would have given to have that may have affected you that way, but I would have loved it. I probably would be on a soccer team right now.
Emily, you're just ungrateful. That's what it sounds like. Sounds like your dad was doing you a favor.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah. Your dad was trying to help you and you just didn't appreciate it.
Right. Can you actually give me his number?
Yeah. I need a new mentor. So, okay, now we get to the battle royale of this episode. Dr. Pia shows up. Brennan's worst nightmare.
Let's just cue the scene.
Yeah. She asks how things are going. She says, I heard a lot's been happening and not happening since I was last here. Brennan says, yeah, things are good. We're getting to know each other with no pressure involved. Things are great. No one's hassling me. I'm good.
If I were Dr. Pia, I would have been like, and then and Montre goes, okay, where are we? No. Give it a minute.
I'm gonna
like,
sit here
don't play in my face right now.
I'm gonna sit here till you tell me what's really happening, Brennan. Or we can sit here all night. So you gonna tell the truth now? It sounds like dealing with a little kid.
You just after everything we've been through, Brennan, You just gonna lie to me? Remember, we almost got into it last time.
Don't play me, little boy. Don't do it. I'm not here for play. Okay.
Exactly.
Be real. Brendan says, yeah, things are great. Things are awesome. Emily says, well, not quite. That's basically what Emily says. She says, since the last time you were here, everything's really gone backwards. And Brendan has pushed back on everything you recommended and has been super negative.
I was like, yes, Emily, finally speaking up for yourself.
Brendan says he has no idea where this came from. They had a great day playing soccer. No, I'm sorry. This is before he says this. He's like, oh. He says, I have no idea where this is coming from. We had a great day playing soccer, and I'm not sure why she's dwelling on the past.
Because it was like, Emily didn't know why he's acting like this. And Dr. Pepper was like, well, why don't you?
Dr.
Pepper. Gosh, that is, I don't know what is, why? Okay.
Because it should be Dr. Pepper dealing with this.
Right. So Dr. Pia was like, well, why don't you ask him? And so then she's about to turn to ask, why are you? Then why are we? Can we talk about something more positive?
I just want to talk about the positives. I don't want to talk about anything negative. I just want to look so good on camera.
Right.
And he said, well, listen, we did a version of that touching exercise that you recommended. For those who don't remember, Dr. Pia recommended that they put on as little clothing as they're comfortable with and touch each other from head to toe. And Brennan changed it to, how about we just hug more often?
Yes. So
he tells Pia this. He says, listen, we did a version of it, which was just hugging. He says, well, we didn't do a lot of it, but more than normal. It's almost like Austin, like, we did it, but not as much as we should have. And then so Emily is like, well, that was your rule. That was not something that we both came up with. That was your thing.
He's like, oh my
God. Like, I'm just so frustrated. He says, because I ask her what she wants to do. She tells me to come up with something. I do. She agrees with it. And now we get in front of Pia, which again is like, whenever Brendan gets around Pia, he drops the doctor from her name, which is incredibly disrespectful.
So disrespectful.
He says, now we get here, and now she says she's disagreeing with everything I did. Which honestly, he's a little right in this way. Because, and Emily will kind of touch on it, but she's agreeable to things he says.
Very, yes.
She wants him to be as invested as he can.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes along with it. So
she's not trying to rock the boat.
Right. In this regard, he's a little right. And Pia's like, okay, but you did not do the exercise I prescribed to you, because my exercise was not to hug. So no, you didn't do the exercise. Emily's right.
She's like, I literally hug y'all when I walk in.
Yeah.
Why would that be?
And if you remember, that was the extent of the hug Brennan gave Emily the other episode, was that side hug. Like, okay, that's enough. Don't need to use two arms. Pia asks Emily, so why do you think he didn't want to do the exercises? And he says, because he didn't want to. And you're right. This is why he goes, this isn't productive. I would like to focus on the positive. And he turns to me and says, you don't think this is helping, right? And we said, well, I don't know what Pia was going to say, so I don't know. Brennan says, but you already know the answer to this stuff. And Pia's like, well, no, she just said that she doesn't know the answer. So he's like, oh, so he's had enough. He's like, oh my God. He's like, he doesn't like to be pushed. He doesn't like to be pressured. He doesn't like to be confronted by anyone.
He acts like he never has been. Yeah. Like this is a brand new feeling. He doesn't like it. He wants to go back in his bubble where no one pushes back on anything he says.
Mm-hmm. And Pia tells him, listen, Brendan, I'm feeling a lot of pushback from you. He says, every time I try to talk to Emily, you jump in. He says, every time? Huh? Every time? She says, well, more often than not. He says, it feels like you're being very defensive. Brendan said, the point of this meeting, I thought, was to move forward and not dwell on the past. I thought we were on the same page as that. What this means, folks, is that before Emily and Brendan got to this Dr. Pia visit, he was like, all right, which seems like he does every time they have an expert visit. He says, listen, you're going to act right? You're not going to talk about the bad stuff. We're just going to talk about the good stuff. We're not going to cause any trouble. You're going to be a nice little girl, right? I'm not going to have to discipline you. And she's like, yes, sir. I'll make sure that I only focus on the good things. And then Emily switched
and
it
then
up.
She's like,
yeah.
I had my fingers crossed the whole time.
Look what I got. Uno reverse card. Bam. So yeah, he says, I thought we were going to talk about the good stuff. I don't know why we're dwelling on the past, aka yesterday.
Right.
Pia says, listen, I'm hearing two versions of what is happening here in this relationship. And Emily, it sounds like you're holding back from what you really want to say when you're talking just to Brennan. Emily says, yeah, I'm mostly open and honest, but sometimes, if I only say the things he wants because he gets really defensive in his comments and his actions. In a confessional, she says that Brennan gets really reactive off camera and he doesn't want people to see that side of him.
What? He does?
Say what? As if we hadn't gotten several hot mic moments showing us exactly that.
Right.
But Emily doesn't know that at the moment. Pia says Pia tells Emily, so you seem like you just say yes, even if it's not really what you want. Emily says, yeah, I'm just trying to keep things afloat. But I have stuck up for myself when I needed to. She just wants to make sure that she is thinking about how she addresses him and that she is calm when doing so. Brennan says, she always speaks her mind. I don't know where this is coming from. He says that Emily has told me.
Because he just knows what all is on her mind. Like, it's because his version of reality is that what she's telling him is all that's on her mind.
Right. He says, Emily was always telling me, I'm not sure why I was nervous to speak my mind. You took that greatly. But now she's saying that she's afraid to speak up to me. Emily's like, those are the exact same thing. He's just like, okay. Because so it is. Mad. Because this, what you just said, Brennan, is acknowledging the fact that Emily is nervous to tell you things because of how you react. Mm-hmm. So now you can't be surprised when she tells you that at times she has held back because of how you react. So yes, it is basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Pia asked Brennan, so Brennan, do you feel like you're being defensive? He says, well, I feel like you're allowed to be defensive when someone is being unfair to you. Really, Brennan? Okay. Emily says, well, I mean, I'm just answering the questions that Pia is asking me. And Pia, I don't know, Pia's like, yeah, that's fair. I am asking the questions, so blame it on me, Brennan. This seems like she's trying to take his focus off Emily.
Right.
Like
she's not the one coming up with this stuff. I'm asking her.
Be mad at me, Brennan. Don't be mad at Emily. You mad at me. Brennan says, well, I think we've given enough context. It's like, well, Emily doesn't seem to think that. So does her opinion matter? He's like, yes. Like he's just a kid that's being disciplined in school.
This is exactly why. Like, this is why he dislikes therapy. Because you have to be open to it. You have to be willing to hear this third party out with their wisdom and expertise that they have. They're trying to share with you. She's trying to help, but he thinks her entire goal coming in here is to break them up, which isn't that what he wants anyway?
No, he thinks her goal is to make him look bad. He thinks it's Emily's goal, and he thinks it's Pia's goal to make him look bad, to get him in these gotcha traps and turn his words around against him, turn his actions against him. I think that's what he's really thinking in these moments. Like they're trying to trap me into saying something bad or that I'm being bad. When he's not really taking the exercises and the things to heart. He's not trying to fix behavior. He's not trying to fix the relationship. He's just trying to get out of this looking the best he can. That's his goal and his objective. He says again, I just feel blindsided. I thought we were in a good place. I'm sorry. Now, Pia also asked him, so Brennan, are your friends allowed to challenge you on your opinions? He says, of course. Yeah. And then Pia says, are you comfortable with Emily doing that? And he's just like, I don't know. Like,
because
Emily's not my friend.
Yeah, literally. So, okay. So now that we have our answer for last week when Dr. Pepper asked, what kind of friends are y'all? She's just an acquaintance.
He's like, not. That's the kind of friends, not.
Right.
And that was wild. He's like, yeah, my friends can challenge me. He's like, can Emily challenge you? Ooh, I don't know about that. She's not my friend.
She should stay in her place.
Yeah, for real. It's my co-star in this reality show. So Pia asks Brennan, so do you trust Emily? He says, well, I think we're rebuilding trust. And Pia says,
why was it broken?
That's what Emily asked. Pia says, so what do you need from Emily to rebuild trust? And Emily interrupts this moment. She's like, well, I need to know what I did to break it. Pia's like, whoa. Let him answer the question first. Brendan says she can do is the things that she says they will do. Like when we talk about we're not going to bring up our problems with the experts, that she follows along with that. He didn't say that, but I put that in his mouth because that's what he meant. He says he's like, I don't want to dive so deep in this. Like he said, we're going to do in this conversation. Pia says, Pia asks how his definition of rebuilding trust leaves room for people to change their mind after they said they would do something, aka Emily changed her mind to speak her mind in this Pia conversation after she said she wouldn't. He says, just communication, talking about it so he doesn't feel blindsided. In my mind, I'm thinking, well, she couldn't open up to you and tell you this because if she said that she was going to tell Pia how she felt, you would get all mad, pace around the room, throw stuff around. He would have thrown a hissy fit, which
would have been like, Pia would have said, "Oh, so how are y'all doing?" Well, I thought I was fine, but apparently she has things to say.
Yeah, and I mean that's what hissy fit is the best thing I can use to probably sum up what he does when she stands up to him when they're alone. Pia asks, how can Emily communicate to him without putting him on the defense? He says, I mean, just talk to me about it and start from the beginning. I said, BS. Pia says, so Pia is trying to shine this turd up.
Yeah.
So she says, it feels like you need validation. And she says, what about what has happened and acknowledging the effort that you've put forth. And it seems like Brennan thinks that Emily's leading with the negative and what isn't going right. And from his perspective. Emily says, listen, I've gone above and beyond to not make him feel that I'm trying to see this negatively. Pia says, well, it sounds like you guys are having a parallel process. And what's going on? They're doing the same things, though the context is different, and you are both on the defense a lot. And he says, I'm trying to be very constructive. She doesn't know what to do. She's just trying to be honest and move forward. She cares about him, and she just needs him to be open. He says, yeah, I don't know. This is not the relationship either of us wanted or deserved, and I'm trying my best to move forward. A lot of moving forward in this conversation. Pia asks if he thinks change is possible. He says, yeah, because we've had really good days. Pia asks Emily. She says, what do you desire in a good friendship? I said, damn, we're going all the way back to friendship. She says, caring.
When you interact with another human being in the world.
Yeah, just when you talk to someone and want to feel respected. What do you what do you feel like you need? She says, caring, kindness, trustworthiness, respect, hard work, and she needs him to be open to feedback. Pia asks Brendan the same thing. He says, respect, loyalty, honesty, communication, respect. He said respect twice.
He did say respect twice.
Pia says,
I was like, you're silly.
Pia says, what do you need to happen to shift the focus and rebuild trust? Emily says, I just need clear expectations. Brendan says to not dwell on the past and for her to voice her concerns and be in the moment. I don't know if they can really use if Emily can do those two things at the same time.
No.
Because you're going to need to talk about the past in order to voice your concerns about what you felt in the past, right?
But Brennan doesn't want to talk about anything that occurred any time before the current minute.
Yes, especially if it's something bad, right? I feel like if she wants to talk about the great soccer date a week from now, is he going to be mad that she's dwelling in the past? No,
right?
Because that was a good moment.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
Yeah, or no, or we're not talking about the good things, Emily, because that's dwelling in the past. No, he's going to be like, yeah, that was a good thing I did, right? Just further evidence that this whole soccer date was almost his ammunition. Like, all right, if we do this right before the Pia visit, we can focus on this good thing I did because I didn't yell at her. I didn't roll my eyes at her. This whole soccer thing. So this
wipes away everything else.
Right. This will be my good thing. We can talk about the Pia visit. He's like, I got this licked. I got this formula down. He's like, I just got to act like I like her for 30 minutes. And that'll give me something good to talk about at the Pia visit. It's almost like right before you go to the doctor, you work on your diet for like a week and you're like, man, I've been crushing it. this whole yesterday, I only ate healthy. They're like, all right, but what about the 3 months beforehand?
Don't worry about that.
Don't
We're not living in the
I'm doing
past.
better now. Like I ate an apple yesterday. Okay,
I'm a new person.
So get off my back about my cholesterol.
Right.
So they basically say all we can do is move upwards and onwards. All right, so let's get into a little bit of the after party of it all, because there was, Emily was on a tear this whole after party. Yes. There was so much that came out about more about their relationship. So, and the confrontation with Rudy Huxtable. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm trying to get by. So Emily says all the stuff Brendan's saying is making it harder because they are still in this roadblock. She's talking about his conversation with Richie, because Rudy asked her, so does he tell you this stuff like to your face that you're mean? She's like, yeah, but then his actions don't really fit with what he's saying. She says you don't see a lot of the stuff off camera, and he says this stuff on camera but then doesn't do the things he says he's going to do. She says her patience is wearing thin. We get to the Pia visit, and this is where Rudy says, so did you tell him how you were feeling before the Pia visit? She doesn't really answer this. She's like, yeah, I've been telling him all this stuff, this whole time. Rudy says, so how is it when Pia's not there? She said, well, he gets really negative and he doesn't want to dwell on the past. And he told her right before the visit, if she shuts up, that he will go to couples counseling with her when the 8 weeks is done.
That is so twisted.
I just wonder
manipulative.
I just wonder what the real plan is for Brennan. Is he just saying this to get through the 8 weeks and say divorce at the end? Or I think
that's it.
Is this guy gonna say yes on decision day so that he can say, hey, I'm willing to give it a shot? Probably live apart after decision day, do couples counseling once or twice, and they're like, yeah, we tried my best, not going to do it. So I don't know what his real ploy was here, but honestly, obviously saying anything to get her to not say what is really on her mind to experts and on camera.
He's been so vocal about never wanting to get divorced, and I think he may see it saying no on decision day as his out. Is like, well, I just decided not to continue with like this marriage that was on TV. It's not like I got divorced.
Yeah, because like at the decision, they're like, do you want to stay married or do you want to get a divorce? I just feel like, well, I would like to not continue with this current arrangement the way that it is.
Exactly.
So you want a divorce? I didn't say that. Right. I said I don't want to continue with the way that this is operating at this current moment. I would no longer like to be married to this person.
That's like Zach's answer with Zach and Michaela.
It's like, Brennan, I'm gonna need you to say the word divorced. I'm not gonna say that.
You're not gonna get me to say those words.
Like, I don't want to say that word because I said I wouldn't do that.
Right.
So Rudy gets on this tangent of like, well, Brendan seemed caught off guard in the moment when you're talking to Pia. And
I did feel this energy was a little bit we know it was a little bit odd, only because I see why she was doing it. I know she was doing it because she wants Emily to speak up. She wants Emily to advocate for herself when it's just Brennan, right? Because Emily's waiting till she's with Dr. Pia to say something. And she's like, well, you didn't say anything beforehand. But I think it came off very much so like accusatory, like I'm on it, the way I feel like Emily saw it as Rudy is on Brennan's side in this.
Yeah. And it felt almost like Rudy was reading this scene wrong, because Rudy's vision is Brennan's caught off guard. He didn't know any of this. And Emily says what I feel like is right. She says, no, he's playing the victim.
Yes.
He says he's mad that I spoke up. He doesn't want to dive deep. And she tries to say that she says, all this fun soccer stuff right before this, he was screaming at me, talking about it shouldn't be this hard to be friends, Emily. And then so Rudy's like, oh, she tries to grab onto this tidbit. She's like, oh, what did he say? What did he yell at you about? And Emily won't be specific.
She's like, oh, something happened the night before, and
he tried to gaslight
me. Yeah.
And so Emily says, No, Rudy says, well, we're just trying to get to the bottom of, because this was the point where Emily's like, listen, this isn't what we're here to talk about. This isn't, we're talking about the clip. We're not talking about anything else. And Rudy says, listen. Rudy turns and he's like, okay, here's the thing. We're trying to get to the bottom of things so that the viewers can understand. Emily says, well, I just rather talk about the clip. So Emily at this point is doing to Rudy what Brennan does to Emily and Dr. Pia.
Yes.
Like, I don't want to talk about these things that you want to talk about. I want to talk about the things that I want to talk about. So let's not dwell on the past, Rudy Huxtable, okay? Rudy says, listen, I feel like if Rudy, there's no cameras, Rudy would like grabbed her by her like collar. Listen here, little girl.
Don't you ever talk to me like that again.
Yeah. I am not the enemy. I'm trying to reveal what happened behind the scenes and find out what's going on. Are you afraid to speak up to him? And we're just all trying to understand the dynamic. So don't you ever, little girl, pull out your mouth and get smart with me again. Emily says, she says, yeah, in the moment when I was talking to Pia, I told her that I felt safe, but I really didn't. And I didn't want the repercussions later of what would happen if I spoke up to him when Pia wasn't around. So Rudy's like, okay, what are the repercussions? Like, it's like, do we need, I know this is in the past, but should we have gotten you out of the situation?
Right.
Because I mean, it honestly feels like there's some other stuff going on here. And Emily says, well, he paces back and forth all the time. She says he throws things at the wall, he yells, and he blames me for all of this stuff. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, this is the moment where we go to break, and Emily's obviously very upset and shaken. This is where also like he goes over, tries like pat her on the shoulder. She's just not having any of it. This was so interesting.
Yeah, it was like I couldn't tell if Emily's anger was misplaced from Brennan specifically or the show. Like, because it was like, okay, if they're still together, is she mad at like how like all of this is being shown? It was just like Rudy did not, I don't care how she asked the question, she did not deserve that. Like, do you have another, like this, when are you, what? Why are you talking to her like that?
Well, I feel like that's not what we were here to talk about. And I want to talk about the clip. Are there any other questions you have to ask?
Excuse me? She said, I am not the enemy. What are you talking
about? Here, little girl, I am not your enemy right now, but I can be. Okay.
She should have said, okay, bet. Michael, moving on. Just not even giving
not talk to
energy
Emily anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to acknowledge you the rest of this after party. You can go ahead and get up and leave if you want,
and don't expect to ever come back.
Child.
Oh, I just would have been. I wanted to be a fly on the wall during that commercial break.
I am Rudy effing Huxtable. Okay. Do not step to me because you will regret it.
That was just. Ooh.
And see, this is why I love Rudy on the after parties, because Rudy will get real.
Mm-hmm.
She probably didn't even get as real as she could have in that moment.
That's why I'm hoping she got real during the commercial break.
Mm-hmm.
And said, okay, Emily.
Don't you ever in your life
watch
do
yourself
that again.
Watch yourself.
Watch it. Got it. She got talking to you at that commercial.
She was like, you ever want to come back? And Emily, yeah. Well, don't play me like that. Because you're not about to be sitting in these 3 chairs talking to me like that.
I figured that was Jamie Otis. She just would have taken it and moved on.
Right. And it was so annoying that Rudy had to be the one to give her tissues when she started crying. I was like, this girl just went the full range of emotions. And now you couldn't keep that same energy you just had with Rudy throughout this whole thing. It's like, because that was just pent up to the wrong person.
Yeah, and listen, I feel for Emily, right? Because I feel like she thought that Rudy was questioning her and what she was doing. And so she kind of snapped. I think she's had enough of this. And I guess I understand why Rudy didn't push things further and maybe ask her about the allegations that Brennan said last time he was there about the whole tearing down the shower curtain.
Yeah.
So maybe we weren't in a good space to talk about that. Okay.
I was gonna ask you.
Yeah, I won't let you defend yourself, but
Right. We didn't even get there.
maybe Emily had just heard that's what Brennan said last time. He was on after party. She was pissed off about that because she came into this thing ready to fight anyone.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was too much.
Yeah, I know I probably don't need to ask, but ratings. How are we feeling about Brennan and Emily?
A good old solid firm 1.
It's at a 1.000 to infinity.
God. 1 times 1 times 1.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, let's talk about Claire and Cameron real quick.
Yeah, let's get these other two out of the way.
Right. So Cameron's in the car. He's about to head to Boulder Hospital for his operation. He said he doesn't have a choice at this point. Like, he can't even opt out of this procedure. He has to have it. He said the flutter is making his movement very limiting, and it is very distracting. And he's like, and I have no need to contact Claire in the moment. At this moment,
no need. I don't need to, nor do I want to talk to Claire.
So then we get right before this, it said 22 days until decision day. So we get Claire in her apartment. She's like, so I talked to Cameron. I found out he's okay. This was really affecting me because I was super worried and I was super concerned. And he just told me to hang back for the surgery part because you know how I get so concerned. And, I just let him know he is cared for. I care so much about him. He has the support and he means a lot to me.
Biggest eye rolls I've ever had. I'm just so worried about him. I'm his wife after all. No, you're not.
She could genuinely be very concerned. It just feels so weird to still be involved in the other stuff. Like, why are you at the couple's pool time?
Because we're still married, duh.
like this is literally a double date of shooting pool. Michael's about to show up and you just chilling.
You're the fifth wheel, literally. Man.
And then we're gonna have to hear about it at the wedding. Oh, Cam, I really wish Cameron could have made it. As if they're together.
As if they are just if this heart thing is the only thing stopping them from being together.
Yeah, really wish he could have been here.
That y'all don't like each other like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, she just completely has forgotten about all of that.
Yeah, she's not even paying attention to it. It's like.
So she hangs out with Claire and with Emily, and Claire hangs out with Emily and Becca. And she says, sometimes she can be really negative, with where Cameron and her are. She tells them he's been having these heart flutters, and
she breaks HIPAA.
Yeah,
she breaks HIPAA and tells all his business.
She says it's been really worrisome, and sometimes she gets emotional about it, but she'll be strong for him. And she does realize she was mentally in his life to support him through these kind of moments, and she just doesn't want to hurt him more than she already has.
I bet you Claire called him 5 times before he ever picked up the phone.
Yes,
she's calling me again. She's calling me again. What do you want, Claire? I
have to be there for you.
I'm just doing my due diligence and calling you to see how you are. Are you still alive? Okay, cool. Bye. I just hold on. Let me dab my eyes. What? All right, record. I just called.
It's really hard for me.
I just called Cameron just to make sure he's doing okay. And I told him. I said, I'm always here for you. I'll always be your wife, no matter what. And just let him know he has my full support.
I really want to know what was the game plan. Okay, if he hadn't had his heart situation, right? What would have been the game plan for her? How does she continue to stick around?
I don't know. Does she claim squatters' rights? She's like, I'm not leaving.
Because she is still in that apartment.
Yeah, she looks
Montre
down.
Comes, Claire.
This is the county sheriff. Ma'am, we're gonna need you to exit their premises.
We actually need you to go.
We have been disinvited.
Your housing.
You have been disinvited from this production. They are requesting your immediate removal. I just see she's in her apartment. She looks down. She can see the whole pool area. She's like, are they down there? Is that them? Oh, let me get down there.
A group text without me?
Let me get down there.
It's like, Claire, please.
She just shows up at the pool. She's like, "Oh, Claire's here, y'all." They can talk. The producer's talking on the walkie. Oh, Desert Eagle's on her way over. She's here.
Claire's
She's here.
here. Mic her up.
Yeah. I guess technically she's still part of the show, even though no one invited her to this.
Right. Because I was like, okay, well, while they're at it, where's Lauren? Let her in on the girls' time.
Exactly. They are. She is just as married as Claire is at this point.
And then, of course, Claire is gonna want to still be around when Chloe is introduced to the group.
Like,
I just want to be here for Chloe, so she has all of the support that she needs,
so she can learn from our experience.
Right?
Our experience. Come on now.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Cameron's like, yes. Got this heart flutter. Got me out of filming. Got me away from Claire. Super psyched. Listen, I could joke about Cameron because we know he's okay. He's been on after.
Right.
Okay,
because real concern is, okay, I'm not going to be there for the procedure, but I'll be in proximity. Like when you're done with the procedure, I'll be there to check. I'll come visit you at the hospital.
She probably tried that. She don't want him. He don't want her there.
That's true.
He's like, please don't come. Please no. He literally told her, don't worry about it.
He's like, please do not come to Boulder. He said, I have no reason to contact Claire at this moment.
She's not my wife. She's not my anything.
Cut to Claire. I've been calling him nonstop.
I've camped outside the hospital.
He's like, Claire, please, I really don't want it to come to this, but can you please leave me alone?
I do not want to have to get a restraining order, but I will go through those avenues if I must.
Right. So if it was up to Claire, we would be writing them, but it's not.
I'm so worried. Okay.
All right. Last but not least.
Michael and Chloe. This was very short, very much of nothing. We get at the very beginning of the episode, we get Chloe. She's like, "Oh, I'm just getting ready for the wedding, getting all the stuff prepared, doing all the shopping because the big day is coming up." It was like a quick diary cam, in and out. We then see a scene where Michael is showing up in the little group community room where they're all shooting pool. The whole gang's there, the two couples and the fifth wheel, Claire, who's invited herself on another outing. And wouldn't you know it, this guy walks in with his freaking crown again.
Supposed to get one last wear.
Sir, can't you not? We get it. The crown is iconic, but you're really
go.
Yeah, let it go. Drop the crown. It's over. He has like these blue things in his hand, and it never gets referenced. They look like books. I was like, what are these things? They never get talked about. I assume it's for the 5 people there, but we don't know what they are. Are they some kind of invitation, or is?
Oh, I don't even know. I didn't notice them myself.
Yeah. He hugs the group and he basically tells them all about how he's been rematched. He says he knows he's gonna have to tell her about what happened. And everyone there says, "Oh, we'll make sure that you're good." He says, "You did nothing wrong. You want to make sure you try to turn this into a positive." He says, "Yeah, I want to make sure that she knows that she isn't receiving a broken man." The ladies assure him that they will back him up with her. He says, "We'll make sure she knows that you did nothing wrong." He invites them all to when he's like, "Listen, it's this Saturday. Can y'all come?" Austin and Becca can't come because they're visiting his grandma. It's like. And I'm sure we won't get any footage from that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like these are such interesting things to learn about, like what happens when the cameras aren't there. Like,
yes,
they're just going.
They're literally going out of town.
Yeah, they're like doing things that couples do.
Yeah,
I just thought that was an interesting thing to like kind of see and bring up.
Yeah.
But everybody else, Emily and Brendan says they'll be there. Claire says she'll be there. I'm sure Claire is going to sit in the middle of Austin Becca of. Brendan and Emily. She'll be Brendan will be like, "Why don't you sit next to me?" And then Emily will sit over there.
Yeah.
I just love when Michael's telling him that he got rematched. The look on Brendan's face. I put it in the Facebook group. He's like, "So jealous. Wish I could get a do-over." Right. Wish I was you, Michael. Get rid of my first bride and getting another one.
Yeah.
But in confessional, Michael does say, he's one day away. He isn't so much as nervous, but more anxious. He already knows the worst case scenario, but he's confident he can remain optimistic. Chloe's with her bridesmaid and her mom at the nail salon, get their nails done for the big day, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I thought we'd get some version of like a bachelorette party. Oops, I forgot to take away these people from my background. I thought we would get some version of like a bachelorette party hosted just by their friends. Like, hey, one last hurrah, fun time. But maybe they did do that and we just didn't see it.
We're not even going to waste the time of filming Chloe's getting ready. It was all in diary cam. They're like, listen, we've already blown the budget for this season, Chloe. We're not sending more camera people, producers, sound guys over to your house. You just film it all yourself. We'll include it in the episodes. Okay?
I'm like, how do y'all should have 5 on deck. So
yeah, y'all should have a surplus.
Free.
You should have a surplus of people. Like, no, we let them go once we lost people. Like,
we're Lauren and Orion's people.
We got to save some money on this production at this point because it's a lost cause.
I will say, Michael on After Party reminded me that he is 38 because I felt like his responses were so mature, and I was like.
Yeah, but he also kind of just repeated the things the other people were saying, just in a different way.
Maybe it just sounded better coming from him.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, that was our show. That was our interesting little show here.
Yeah, this good old show. Yeah. So thank y'all for sticking with us. That was episode 13.
Wouldn't it be wild if we just got a 2-week break from everyone and we only got Michael's wedding and Michael's honeymoon back to back?
You think they'll get a honeymoon?
I mean, the titles for the upcoming episodes seem to suggest, we have wedding next week, and then there's the title has something to do with honeymoon the week after that.
I could use a break from Emily and
yeah, it's not like anything's gonna change. It's not like anything's gonna be different when we come back.
There's still gonna be a 1.
Yeah, we come back 2 weeks later, but like, yeah, they still haven't had sex and they're still not getting along. You didn't miss anything.
Right. It might be worse off, actually. Closer to a no on decision day.
Yeah, and we actually do know we still have some more Orion and Lauren coming up at some point.
Yes, where Orion second guessing and
yeah. I feel like there's actually more than one scene with them, if I recall.
They were like outside, and then they were in different. So we'll see what happens with that.
What do you think Cameron's visibly going to be for the rest of the season? Is he going to be done? Do you think we'll see him again?
He'll take the opportunity to be like, "This is it."
Yeah, I'm so sick.
Because what 3 couples did we see on decision day?
We saw Brendan and Emily. We saw Austin and Becca.
Didn't we see Claire and Cameron?
I think we did see Claire and Cameron.
Yeah. Maybe they'll show up for one last hurrah about why it didn't work out.
Are y'all sure?
Claire's like, I'm ready to make my decision. You're like, Claire,
the decision been made. The decision been made, Claire.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Claire probably insists on a decision day. Like, no, we need a decision day.
Right?
Really? Why?
She's like, I know the last month has been a bit rocky.
Now we're broken up. No, we were separated. We did not get a divorce. We were separated.
We were just taking a break.
Yeah, it was a break.
But thank y'all so much for sticking with us. We'll be back next week to talk about episode 14, which we are thinking is potentially just the wedding. So we'll just be unpacking that. Could be a shorter episode or like a shorter podcast episode. So
God forbid they put it to an hour just for the wedding.
If you want to skip the episode, you can just find us here talking about it and you get a nice little recap. Jason, where can people find you and keep up with you?
You can find me on Twitter at JAYR1085. You can catch me coming up soon on the crime scene with our fun usual guests of the season, Mari and Sarah. I'll be talking about one of the new documentaries on Netflix. Honestly, don't remember the name of it at the moment.
Isn't it American? No, not American Vandal. That's the spoof one.
Yes.
Vintage. No.
It is
American Nightmare.
Is American Nightmare.
Why do I know this?
I don't know. I was literally trying to look it up, but I saw American Nightmare.
I'm curious. I want to watch it because I've seen a lot like people like, oh my God, I just finished it. My jaw is on the ground.
Yeah, I heard it was very good. So I'll be talking about that with them on Crime Scene coming up soon. Other than that, you can find me here. Got no other special things in the works. What about you, Aysha?
Yeah, y'all can find me at Aysha like Aysha. That's AYSHA like ASIA on all social media. And then follow Malshipu Sisters on TikTok. There's a plethora of videos there. for you to enjoy, and I'll try to do a better job posting. I always post so many videos on Instagram, but
you mean they post?
They get on my account. Because I don't even post it on their account. I just post it on mine.
Like, what's mommy's password?
Right. My stories are nothing but them or us doing something. So yeah, go check that out. And then we'll be back next week to talk about episode 14. Make sure you go join the Facebook group. This week the password is Naked Terrarium. And then leave us a 5-star rating review on the Love at First Sight feed. So until next week, we'll see y'all later. Bye.